evening and welcome to yet another exciting episode of A Cuppa with Nomcebo. Today is going to be a beautiful Monday evening. I am sharing the set and having a cuppa with a good friend of mine and a colleague. His name is Fabrice Musunera, an award-winning sports journalist, and it's quite an honor to be sitting next to him. A guy who recently had the best and biggest interview you can only imagine, interviewing His Majesty King of Swati III himself. Fabrice, welcome to the show and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Nomcebo. I mean, I've always wanted to come to this program, to this show. It is an exciting day every Monday to kick the week, to kickstart the week on a high note. I mean, why not? And I'm very pleased and glad to be on the show.
Thank you for joining me, Fabrice. It's been a long time coming. I've had this, this discussion before, it'd be nice to actually have you on the show because this is the one program where you think you may know people, know the situations they've been through, know their triumphs, their strengths and their victories, yet you don't know a thing. And this is a particular program where we get to really unpack the people that you believe that you know, get to know them more and get to appreciate them and love them, and more especially appreciate the beautiful work that they have contributed to make this country a better country. And this is exactly what you've been doing, with your career as a sports journalist. You joined the organization Eswatini TV 14 years ago, I believe.
14 years, exactly. 14 years ago, as an intern first. And I think I remember when I came, I was just trying to picture, or rather just describe the infrastructure of the area. Eswatini TV, there was the production department, there was the admin. I think at that day, my first week, you were attached to the production department. There's something you were doing. And then, just finding a lot of people here. Some of the people have left, but I think you're one of the people who are still around, and I think you played a key role in encouraging me, I was frightened in my first week.
Let's talk about the first week.
The first week. I mean, let's talk about being should I use the word foreign? Or someone coming from outside the country, coming in the kingdom back in 2008, after I've completed my studies in journalism and media studies back home in Rwanda, where I was born and raised and did everything. So landed in the kingdom 2008, just try to, read the situation. How am I going to be relevant in this country, the language, when people greet you, yes, they do speak English, but then the majority, even though they speak English, there is that dominance of the local language. I think Eswatini TV, especially the employees, colleagues and friends, people like yourself have played a key role in ensuring that I quickly adapt to the place. So I remember my first, it was back in September, September 2021. I came as an intern. When I came in as an intern, my first, assignment was to try to be attached to the camera crew that was, in the newsroom. So I'll go with them on the field to see how they capture the events and everything. I had a bit of information on how to use a camera. So due to other, things I had done in church and shooting weddings, covering, small sessions, your birthdays. People who had events, so they used to call me, and I had, a bit of information or how to use a camera. So, it was a different setup because shooting for a production is not the same as shooting for news. So you'll be attached to a team that will be on the field. I think for the first 3 to 5 months after my internship finished, after 3 months, I requested that they extend my internship. I wanted to stay more and learn more. So, I wasn't allowed to touch the camera due to different reasons. I needed to be well informed on how to use it in terms of shooting for news. Secondly, there was also the issue of safety. I'm an intern, so if it's damaged, it's not in my hands to explain what happened. So in the first, 4 to 5 months, 6 months, it was quite difficult. And I had also the language barrier whenever on the field, the colleagues, the friends. So when they communicate with other people, I would have to really go back and ask, what was the discussion about? You know, Siswati was really one of the key elements that was just putting me behind to say, how am I going to catch up with this language? It was quite difficult.
But you've done so well because,
Yeah.
you know, everyone around me, you know, even the guys in the studio right now, you know, recording us, you speak Siswati now. And you caught up really, really fast.
Yeah, yeah.
How did that happen? Was it the passion to make sure that you just get in the ropes as quickly as possible? What was the drive to actually grasp, you know, the language so quickly?
I think more than anything, I think there's a part maybe I need to mention that back home, when you're doing your high school program, you do get a chance on the side to do something that will also drive you in terms of what you want to become in life. I think I did a course for 2 years. It's language and literature.
Nice.
Where so what normally you get to understand is that the adaptation to a different place, it starts with you communicating with people. Here's what I've seen in most cases. People, when they land in the country or different places, they just take courses. I want to learn this language. I want to know how to speak this language. But I think what normally is supposed to be the case is that you need to speak with the people that are speaking that language. And then when you make a mistake, they correct you.
Right.
So I think that's where the key area was. I think the first 2 years, people will be just laughing at me. The pronunciation, hey,
Yeah.
the language, yeah.
Because
So
of
it was
the
quite,
chance we
quite
have,
difficult. But today, there are even some vocabularies that I'm able to use, and people are like, how? So I think more than anything, you need to be able to speak if you make a mistake. And then I had a chance to have friends who were quite supportive. If you make a mistake, they correct you. If you you make a wrong pronunciation, they also assist you with the pronunciation. So more than anything, also, it's the institution, the people within the institution, they played a key role in ensuring that I do get to where I am in terms of using the language.
The language, wonderful. Fabrice, I just want to take you back. You did mention that you grew up in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Then that's your home. You're Rwandan native. Tell us about your childhood. Who are you? Your family set up. Just take us back. Let's just get to know the young Fabrice.
Young Fabrice, born and raised, like I highlighted, in Rwanda. You know, how many are we? Yeah, we're 3 at home. I've got 2 siblings. I think I've got a brother currently staying in Durban. I've got another one who's still back home. So we're 3 boys from a beautiful mother.
Lovely.
Who is based now in France.
Oh, wow.
And then I think our dad passed away. I think I was only 7
wow.
after the genocide that took place in 1994. So part of the reason why also we had to be in different places because the situation wasn't really that much of accommodating. But
so did the genocide affect you, Fabrice?
A little bit,
family?
It did.
How did it impact your family?
Because we didn't get a chance after the genocide to stick together as a family. So I think my mom, what she had to do was to ensure that despite the issues that were around in the country, we had to continue with our education. So I think because I was younger, so my brother that I come after had to go to live in South Africa because we had another family, a friend who was based there. So he grew up in Durban, studied there. But with me, because I was still young, I had to stay with her. So finished my primary, my high school. So then the situation then was starting to get a little bit different. So the decision was like, no, you know what?
Like a different how? A different bad? A different...
Okay, when it started, it was really bad. I think you guys have, majority have seen the movies.
Yes,
it was really bad. It was really bad. Yes, yeah, we wouldn't have a conversation about the situation. It was quite bad. If you have a conversation about it, there is, you could be charged with ideology, discussing matters that affect the nation and all those things. So, yeah, we had a situation where I think, on my father's side, there were also, how do I put it? Because there were two ethnies. There was the Tutsis and the Hutus.
Yeah.
So the Hutus were after the Tutsis. So, and then everyone had to be described in one of the groups. So I think on my side, my father was actually described in one of the side that is wanted. So
Wow.
even though they could get one of your family member, the idea is, even though we're able to get your father, but there is still some family members that we could be after. So if, for instance, my father is one of the people that are wanted, so the idea is that the sons also should be the same as like the father. So those are some of the things that really were quite
tough,
difficult, tough. Yes, you
So
grow up,
your
losing a lot of family members.
right,
And
and the way you lost the family members was pretty gruesome.
yeah, it was pretty gruesome.
I must say. And was your dad a direct victim of the
not
genocide?
during the genocide, but immediate after. I think it took place for 3 months between April to July 1994, but a year after 1995, because there were still those talks, one this one, one that one this one.
So your dad was murdered?
Yeah. So it was in that situation,
Okay, Fabrice.
Yeah.
On that moving note, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from Fabrice Musonera. Watching a Cuppa with Nomcebo, and today I have Fabrice Musonera on my couch and having a Cuppa, and it's really interesting to get to know, your colleague and friend better. You're an award-winning sports journalist sitting with us. We're just talking about a rather, sad story, about a certain part of your life, being born in Rwanda and being affected, by the genocide that took place then, and losing your father, and then finding yourselves displaced, here and there, and you survived that. The images were gruesome. We saw them all around the world. It's pretty gruesome. It wasn't easy, to watch the visuals. And I know that Rwanda, there's an actual place where it's been turned into a monumental place where people go and just have a look at all the people
Pictures
that passed away.
And everything, the stories.
How do you survive that mentally? How do you deal with that? Because I want to believe that's something that's not really easy to erase on your head. How do you wake up every morning and just survive having gone through such, a disturbing and a terrifying moment in your life, Fabrice? And you're very young, I must say.
You do have moments where, when you go through your pictures, some of the pictures when you're still young, because the fortunate part is that, yes, it took place when I was still young, but you can never forget about such things. When, you talk to other family members, then you ask about such and such person, they tell you, no, you don't know the story. He or she also passed away during the event. And then this is how the most cruel part is how they used to die. It's not your normal, taking a gun and shooting someone.
Yes.
It was like a massacre. You take a knife, you stab someone.
Yeah.
Just it was really pretty
much. About inflicting pain before the person passes away.
More than anything. So when you wake up, sometimes, especially during this time of the month, I don't know if maybe it's a coincidence that we're having this interview. They have an annual, commemoration of the event. So the first 2 weeks for the month of April, nothing just takes place there. It's just all about remembering over or close to 1 million of citizens that time passed away. Imagine losing close to 1 million. Yeah, close to 1 million. Close to 1 million in terms of population that lost their lives that time. So the first 14 days of every month of April. That's why I think recently we also had Her Excellency Deputy Prime Minister attending the commemoration back in Rwanda. So it's becoming now a global event where other head of states, other countries, they do join the country Rwanda in terms of remembering what happened that time. And I think seeing President, His Excellency Paul Kagame also making it an event where people come and join each other and remembering the stories and what happened. So it's becoming good. And then I can only imagine it's been 30 years since the incidents. And then you ask yourself how really some people are still getting those flashbacks. It does happen, you know, when you're with, I mean, some people, you just sit and then they start crying.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, what's happening? I'm just remembering what happened. Because some of these things, they used to happen in front of our eyes. They will kill your parents in front of your eyes. They will just, you know, do other things that you cannot even explain first before they can murder them. But like your question, how do I wake up every day?
Yeah.
You pick up your pieces, you tell yourself, you know, I can do this, because if I'm able to achieve this at my age, then I can be able to, to pick up my pieces. You do get to be sad when you're alone. You think about it, but you pick up yourself and tell yourself, you know what, I have to move forward, because in the long run, you have to explain to your family, to your kids, to your partners, what happened to your parents, what happened to their grandfathers, and so you have to be strong. And I think also maybe being away of the country, staying away a bit, it has helped me just erase a bit the story, because I've got now different friends, I've got, you know, different environment, so it's not the same. I do, when I go through social medias, when I get calls from back home, I do get the flashbacks, but you know, at the end of the day, tell yourself, I can do this. And what doesn't kill you, it can only make you strong.
Wow. Wow. I've got this newfound respect for you, Fabrice. You know, you are a hero, I must say. And the family is good. Your brothers, they're good. Mom is good in France.
Yeah, they're good. They're pretty much okay. You know, when you have people who also have went through the same thing with you, so they are pretty much okay. They also do have moments, obviously. They do get a chance to visit each other. I think they do check on me. I do check on them. Recently, you know, I've had my brother getting married. So last year, October, I was attending a wedding, and it was really interesting and quite, you know, a beautiful event, because you have all those siblings, you have all those friends, cousins, you have all those related family members coming together for just a union like that. And then, you have that moment like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while, 6, 7 years, 8, 9, 10 years, but then it's all about family. It's all about you coming together. So, they're all good.
That's great.
They're moving forward.
Okay, so you find yourself in Eswatini?
Yeah, so I have, it's in Eswat. Yes. Yes, I've got my mom's sister. She stays in the kingdom. My aunt, she's been, I think, here since 1996 because of the whole story, what happened back then. So she had to leave, and she's been here for the longest time, I think over 28 years. So she's Swazi actually, because she's been here for quite some time as a teacher, you know. So I kept in touch with her. I think back in 2006-07 when I finished my course, so I was like, you know what, let me just change the environment. So I gave her a call, trying to find out what happened and everything. So it's like, you know what, it's an opportunity, why not? You can come through. So
very brave of you.
Yeah,
Boarded that airplane? Landed in the tiny kingdom?
It was a struggle, because I didn't use the aeroplane. I had to use different ways.
Tell us about that.
The road. It was 2 weeks. It was
You traveled from Rwanda to Eswatini by road?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
Do share.
It was 2 weeks.
Tell us about that. Share,
because remember, there were still stories taking place that side, and you will be like, the safest way probably is to leave, because not that you running away from the situation, but you could tell that there are those moments where people, you know, will raise questions, and you feel like maybe it won't end well. So I took a decision, like, you know what, let me just leave. Let me just leave. But in the beginning, I was telling myself, I would just take a direction and see where I end up. But then I would have in my mind, like, no, probably there's someone there. Why not take a chance and see if I can get there? So from Kigali, the capital city of Rwanda, you go up to Nairobi, Kenya. You go down to Tanzania. From Tanzania, you go down to Malawi, Mozambique, Devon, then Eswatini. So it was a 2 week.
Amazing.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
How did you do that?
There are days even. I don't know if this how it's gonna feel for the viewer at home. There are actually days where within the period of 2 weeks, where you get to the border. I remember, I think, was it Tanzania or Malawi? Tanzania to Malawi. Then you get to the border, a group of probably 18, all of you are just finding yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know how you're going to move to the next direction in terms of transport. And, you know, there are always trucks passing by the border. So you ensure that you get in that truck. So the transport wasn't something that you can rely on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the cold during the period of with it's winter.
Oh, that's what I'm
probably
thinking
wearing
about
your
as well.
vests.
Yeah.
So you were in there.
That look, I'm surely that wasn't easy because the traveling itself, you know, and just trying to get into a certain point. I know you need to have money. You need to have, a meal in your stomach.
The money wasn't there.
The clothes, and then how do you? I mean, that must have been really hard. How do you cope with that?
It's hard. Of course, I can't lie to you. It's hard because I can tell you, we can say, let's fast for 3 weeks. Or probably 3 days, not even 3 weeks. 3 days, let's fast and not eating anything. But because we're used to eat every day, now we have a lifestyle, it will be difficult. But that time, I think, you would pass even 4 days, just without having anything to eat, because you're just going through stages.
Wow. And what was your lowest point,
You cry.
You
cry, you'll be like, it's tough, but this is not the
alone?
end. Well, it was a group, I think. I remember there was a Tanzanian. There was, funny enough, there was I don't know if I should use the word Indian, but our Asian friends. There was a group, we were about 8. But some of them, they would just stay along the road. They would just stay there.
And then you
just kept moving. Because I remember when you get to Tanzania, next to Mombasa, the cold was too much, and there's nothing to cover yourself. So you find sometimes a family, friends will be like, hey, you guys have been sitting by the road for quite some time. Just come in and have something to eat. You eat, but then you tell yourself,
Samaritans.
Yeah, so you don't have time to tell yourself that I can rely on this person forever and stay here.
Yeah.
So the next day you take the next road.
Right.
Malawi, I think, was another place. Was it 3 to 4 days? And then you get a different environment. Yes, they speak English because Tanzania, they speak Swahili. Yeah, you get to Malawi. The place was a bit different. I remember quite dusty because I remember when we wanted to leave, we used the truck. We had to wait for the truck at the border. And it was at night, we had to climb. And funny enough, I remember there was a lady with, she was actually the most fast and strong person. It's like, guys, we can do this. We can climb this track, and once it gets across the border, we live with it. So you were going with the direction of a car that knows where it's going, but you don't know where you're going. So it gets you. But you have to read the signs. You have to.
Brave.
You have to.
And you were pretty young at the time.
Yes, I think I was pretty young. Was it? 20, 21. Yeah, somewhere.
Were you ever afraid?
Like you are afraid.
Scared, shaking.
Yeah, you shake and you tell yourself anything can happen from now. You can die, you can lose your life. Anything can happen.
Have you ever had a scary experience, something close to that, death? While traveling?
No, I don't think I have. Yeah. The other moments is just to be scared because it's a positive thing. At some point, I think we'll talk about one of the latest moment when I was really scared, but not because it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. Yeah, but that was the moment when I was scared, and it's really bad. You tell yourself, you know what, this could end at any time. You could lose your life at some point. And I think that another point of speaking different languages was a great experience. Can I?
Of course.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Cuppa with
A cuppa, Fabrice. While you enjoy that cuppa, we have quite a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think for today, unfortunately, we're running out. But there's still quite a lot to talk about. So for tonight's episode, let's leave it there. We're going to continue with this conversation because there's quite a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the triumphs and everything because there's quite a lot to even talk about when it comes to that, your achievements, Fabrice. Because, you're a good story. Eswatini, thank you very much for watching A Cuppa with Nomcebo. Enjoy the rest of your evening and God bless.